everybody, how's it going today? I apologize for not doing the market moves videos on a weekly basis. Last few weeks has been extremely hectic. I am going to try to get back into that series because that's been a lot of fun. But one of the things I've always done on this channel is publish all of the sold boat data, or all the reported sold boat data on brokerage transactions here on the website. So we're going to run through a number of graphs, kind of talk about the numbers a little bit. I'm going to have all of those graphs in a link in the description down below. I'm also going to have another link you can click on if you want the raw data. So you'll go in there, you'll fill in a little form, and then it'll email you the full data. But anyways, without any further ado, let's just go ahead and dive right into it. Okay, so for 2022, there were 209 boats sold during the second quarter of the year, which is down from 252 boats a year ago. That's a 17% decrease in terms of volume of sale. For Leopard, we're going to break into the three main manufacturers as well. For Leopard, there were 43 sold units in 22 compared to 41 the year before, which is a 4% decrease. In 2022, there were 65 lagoons sold. In 2021, there were 100 lagoons sold, which represents a 35% decrease in overall units sold. And then for Fountaine-Pajot, there were 22 units sold in the second quarter of 2022 compared to 42 at the same time last year, which is a 47% decrease in boats sold. Now, we're going to dive into the numbers, and I'm sure some of y'all are looking at this saying, wow, less units sold, that must mean it's a softening market. The reality of it is there just are less units on the market now than there were 12 months ago. And you'll see that here when we get kind of into the nuts and bolts a little bit more. So days on the market in 2022, all reported catamaran sales had an average of 250 days on the market compared to 272 days the year before, which would be a 4% decrease in actual selling time. For Leopard catamarans, there was an average of 154 days on the market this year compared to 167 days the year before, which is a 7% decrease. For Lagoon catamarans, there was an average of 183 days on the market this year. Last year, it was 266 days on the market, which represents a 31% decrease in time to sell. And then for Fountaine-Pajot, there were 87 boats on the market. 87 days on the market was the average time, which is significantly down from the 285 days the year before in the same period, which represented a 34% decrease. In terms of average listing price, in 2022, overall, the average listing price was $608,000 compared to $486,000 last year, which represented a 25% increase. Last year, the average list price was $428,000, whereas this year is $462,000, which represents a 7% increase. For 2022, there was an average list price on lagoons of $488,000, which is a 12% increase over the $433,000 the year before. And probably the biggest jump, which I found the most interesting, was in 2022, the average selling price of a Fountaine-Pajot is up to average listing price is up to $633,000, which is a 24% increase in listing price over the previous period, which was $509,000. So, okay, so prices have gone up. Obviously, we know that. What about actual selling prices? How do those compare to what we saw last year? So across the board, average selling price of a catamaran in the last quarter was $584,000, which was a 27% increase in actual selling price over the previous year, which was $459,000. Now for Leopard, the average selling price was $444,000, which is a 9% increase over the $406,000 last year. For Lagoon, the average selling price was $468,000, which represents a 14% increase over last year's sales of $407,000. And then for Fontaine Pajot, the average selling price was $613,000, which was a 20% increase over the 2021 numbers, which was $509,000 as your average selling price. Shoot, I forgot to skip forward to that slide, so there we go. And the final slide we're going to jump into is the percentage of asking price, which is the percentage of the actual selling price or average selling price over average listing price. So for this year, we're at 94.8%, which is an increase over the 94.1%. For Leopard, it was at 95.7 versus 94.2 last year. For Lagoon, it was at 94.7 this year versus 93.7 last year. And Fontaine Pajot with the largest increase, which was 96.2 over the 93.7 last year, representing a 2.6% increase, was the strongest increase. So looking at all these numbers, knowing what I know about, how my business is doing, yacht sales are going in general, I don't think we're seeing a slowdown yet. When that's going to come, I'm not really sure. Just looking at the numbers here, if we go back a few slides to volume of sales, comparing last year to this year, there's just less units available this year compared to last year, and the demand did not seem to go away. And what tells me that is the fact that boats took less time to sell this year during this time period than last year, and they sold for a higher percentage of asking price this year versus last year. So, for the people that are waiting for a correction, maybe it's coming, maybe it's not. I mean, everything is telling us that boat sales shouldn't be going the way that they're going, but they are. And I'm not an economist. I'm not going to pretend to understand why. I think, though, that people are just at a point where, they're ready to go sailing, and maybe it's not the best financial move, but a lot of times owning a boat isn't the best financial move. And these folks just want to get out sailing, and they want to buy a nice boat to do it. So once again, I'm going to have all these slides in a link in the description down below. There's also going to be a separate link where you can sign up to receive the full Excel with all of the raw data from 2022, which will also include second quarter of 2021. So if you have any questions, leave a comment down below, shoot me an email, and as always, if you like this channel, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Thanks, and have a good day.